Ladies and gentlemen,
I want to know, can you find your mind?
Welcome to Love Your Brain.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Eric.
Hey everybody, my name is Dave. Welcome to Love Your Brain, the podcast of indeterminate scope and far more focus these days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been good.
yeah, we're on a steady path of. We did one on recovery,
Yep,
and then we had a special guest,
that's right.
and then we did part 2 of recovery, which we did promise a part 3, but in between.
In between, a special one. A special person, someone that makes me very happy when I am around this person.
You'll sound it.
I am. I'm really happy that this person is our second guest. And so I would like to say a few words about this person. This person is someone who has known me for about 20 years. So this person has known me when I was in the depths and destruction of active addiction and alcoholism. And this person has seen me evolve into the human I am today. And I would also say that I have evolved into the human being that I am today in large part because of the influence of this person. So I'd like to introduce one of my closest and dearest friends, Peggy Brick.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Dave.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you for inviting me. This is great. So I have a few things to say about the introduction.
Awesome.
Exactly. So I met Eric. My husband and his dad have been friends forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Eric, and the first time I met him and shook his hand, I said to myself, he's one of mine. I already have a house full of kids, and he had aged out by then. I think he was in college, but
Yep.
like I recognized him. And that's only happened to me a few times in my life where I meet someone and I just know this person's going to be around for a while. So there's a lot of beauty in that. And I would not take the lion's share of credit or even any for the person that you've become. You've done that one day at a time. And I'm honored to watch you and accompany you on your journey. That's my response. Thank you.
My response, and that's something you can't all see, is watery eyes. So
Yeah.
thank you for those words, Peggy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It helps that the lights in here are dim, huh? I personally have known Peggy for probably 6 months less than I've known Eric. I met Peggy directly through Eric, and well, she's probably one of the most amazing people and had a huge influence on my life very quickly as well. Yeah.
That's very
And
kind.
has stayed in contact with us for all this time, and I'm looking forward to hearing what we're going to talk about tonight because
Yeah.
there is, again, there's
Just
no
because.
plan,
Yeah, no plan.
No plan.
and there's never been
perfect.
any shortage of conversation among us.
No, no, actually, I can't remember the last time the three of us were in the same space. This is really cool. This is really cool.
I think it was your wedding.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I had a full neck brace on that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
you did.
You know, Dave brought up the time that we were up at Old Orchard Beach. And the conversations we were having there. Very powerful stuff. What do you remember of that, Peg?
I remember that Eric invited me to go camping, and I had a tent and Roughing It stuff in my trunk. And we got there, and it was a goddamn luxury trailer with a fireplace.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a row of we had a row of houses and stuff. And
I was like, this is camping? And he said, yes, it is. And I was like, okay.
There's a term for that. They call it glamping.
All right, we were glamping. So that's my first impression. We started talking. This is what I remember. We started talking, and other people came in and out of that conversation. Maybe like 10 different people over the course of a couple days, is what I remember. And we talked about big, important life stuff. And we talked about recovery a lot, and we talked about spirituality, and I talk about mysticism. And there's some skepticism that goes with that, and I appreciate it.
I'm a huge fan of mysticism.
I know you are.
I really am. I just draw a line at the supernatural.
Yep.
Right. That's
Yep.
okay. So maybe one of the things we can talk about, maybe today, maybe not today, is where that line might be for you.
Yeah,
So-
you know what I didn't realize? I just assumed you were talking about me.
I'm talking about all of us.
When you
'Cause
said
that- No,
I'm saying, I
when you
assumed
said
it was all about me.
skepticism, he made it about him.
Yeah, I made
Oh, no.
it's all about me.
We're talking about me now.
Good job, Dave. That was quick shadow work, like
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
moment.
awesome. So what else do I remember about that day? I remember we drank a lot of coffee. I
Yep.
remember that. I remember that maybe an hour into the conversation, we started recording it.
Yeah.
And
For
so
some reason, we thought it was that important.
we did think it was that important. So do we still have those recordings?
Still got the files. I haven't quite been able to translate them from the format they were recorded in. It was some third-party app that I'm regretting using now.
Yeah.
So
They
But
exist, though.
We do have them.
I do have the files,
We
yeah.
could
so-
get them. So that would be interesting. I remember being very enthusiastic. I remember loving talking with people with powerful minds, and that's Dave, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Eric, and that was a really awesome. I met Bill that day.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, man.
Bill's a friend of ours who's an amazing
Shout out to Bill
artist.
Glasser,
I
a good
think
friend.
he said that his artistic career really started that weekend.
Really,
I was talking to him. He had that art show at
Yes.
at Big Bear.
at
Yep.
Big Bear,
Yeah.
and he was saying that not so much that it's not that he wasn't an artist before he got there. It's just that everybody was so blown away by that talking stick he whittled over the course of the weekend
Yep.
That's
that
right.
he realized that there might be something there.
Yeah.
And years later, when we were standing there at his art show, man, it was just mind blowing.
I have a picture of you and Bill with him proudly holding his art
Yes.
that he made that
Yeah.
day.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was like a walking stick, was it not? Or was it,
It
like
was
more of
smaller
a
than
talking
that, I
stick?
Remember, it was a
It
talking
was a
stick
talking stick.
Yep.
Yep.
because it was a large group, and as you can hear, we're all talking over each other.
Yep.
So it got to the point where when somebody had something that they had to get out,
Yeah.
you'd take the talking stick. And so Bill whittled down a stick, and by the end of it, it had a pair of hands clasped in prayer at the top, every single finger, knuckle. Like he just whittled this thing just, while he was talking.
Yeah.
And he was just a very talented man.
Very talented man. Yeah, that was a powerful weekend for me. Also, that picture that you have was when Bill and I really resembled one another.
Yeah.
Bill and I have been considered doppelgangers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now, but I love that we're talking about Bill. And what I recall from that weekend more than anything is how we really look through the lens of the 12 steps at life in general and how it applied to every human and it applied to every human experience. That was my biggest takeaway from all those conversations. And we even went through each step and dissected it outside of the context of recovery and more in the context of just the human experience.
Right.
Like that's what I recall more than anything.
I didn't have any experience with the 12 steps aside from knowing you.
That's right.
And the people I met through you.
Yep.
So I remember asking a lot of questions in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I remember distinctly that, because the steps don't contain any mention of drugs or alcohol in them, right? So
Yep.
there was a lot of, because everybody in the group of people that we were with was in some form of change in their life. Not that we aren't all at all times, but
Yep.
it felt more imminent at the time. And there was a lot of about, self-searching, about some sort of, about spiritual connections, certainly about nature, and about people, and about how the fact that the whole thing, to me, I walked away with this feeling of a giant circuit that runs through everything that doesn't complete until there's two people to make it complete, to complete that circuit.
Yeah, the other takeaway that I'm remembering now through you bringing that up is I came to this place that weekend where I realized that anyone who is in the process of paying attention to what is not serving them and what serves them, and whose aim and focus is on being a better version of themselves, is in recovery. That was the weekend where I started to realize that the term recovery isn't just about drugs and alcohol, that recovery is for any human being that wants to recover from an old version or to walk away from things that don't serve them, whether that be stories, scripts, narratives, behaviors, thinking. And it opened up this whole world of recovery to humanity, as opposed to, people that hang out in the halls in church basements. So that really opened my eyes. Yeah.
Feel as though, yeah, because if I remember correctly, I think maybe your brother was there, maybe
yeah.
some girlfriends, things like that. So it was,
Yeah, there was some of
funny.
that.
Oh boy, more memories. We don't have to talk about that.
I had just finished a project I'd been working on where I'd taken a performance piece by the Grateful Dead. It was very, the song was Dark Star, and for
I
those
remember
in
this.
particular, it was from June 23rd, 1974. But that part's important because there's no words in it, in the way they do it, and it's very mellow. And I had worked on blending it with some Tibetan monks. And then I tortured poor Matt all the way up to Old Orchard Beach with that in the car.
Oh man, wow. Yeah, that was cool, dude.
But I mean, that's what I was trying to do at that time. And it came out of I was feeling very off-centered one day. And I couldn't, that kind of pace the halls feeling, and I couldn't get it out. And I would often sometimes listen to Tibetan monks chanting, throat singing, to calm me, or I would listen to Grateful Dead, slow, calm jams, one of my favorite ones. And I thought, geez, they belong together. They're all ready together in my head.
Yeah.
Let's see what other people think.
I remember that. That was cool. What, Peggy, do you find calms you or grounds you the most?
That's a good question. I would say it depends really on the circumstances. So I have a prayer practice that I engage in. I don't really call it prayer, but I guess it is. every day I get up really early, and I started doing that when my children were really small, because as a mom, I would never have any time to myself. They would go to bed around 8:30 or 9, and I would be asleep 12 seconds later because I was exhausted from my day. I had a big crew. So I started getting up really early in the morning, and by really early, I mean like between 4 and 5, really early. So part of what I do is I get up really early and I make myself a cup of coffee, and I do a few things. I light a candle. I put both feet on the ground. I mindfully breathe with my feet on the ground. I connect with the earth through my feet. I remind myself that I'm made of the same stuff as the earth. We've moved around quite a bit. And right now our home is in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And right out my window, we live in a valley, and I see windows from both sides of my house. So when I'm connecting with the earth, I remind myself that since I am made of the same things as earth, I'm also mountain.
Yeah.
And what does that mean to me? That allows me to set an attitude for my day of deep presence that gets shaken because I have a challenging job. But the fact that I do that every single day really helps me to remain grounded, literally grounded in my life. So I'd say that's my first answer.
That's a great answer. What do you do for work? I know, but this is for the listeners.
Yeah. I work for a nonprofit law firm in New Hampshire called New Hampshire Legal Assistance. It's a poverty law firm, and I represent people who are victims and survivors of domestic violence, getting orders of protection and divorce and parenting orders. That's what I do. Domestic violence and sexual abuse. So I'm in court. I'm a court attorney, and I negotiate settlements, and I have a trauma-informed law practice. So that's interesting. And most of the attorneys, I was told by one of the attorneys who I work with, who's been there a long time, most of us here have skin in the game. And what I've come to understand about that is that people who dedicate their careers to doing this kind of work have a really good reason for doing it.
Right.
And that's also true for me. I was a victim of sexual abuse by an extended family member when I was a kid that created trauma, and I had no memory of it until I
you
was
did.
well into my adult years.
52, right?
Yeah, I started to remember when I was in my 40s.
Okay.
But, so that trauma-informed law practice that I have is actually the completion of the arc of understanding my own and working through my own trauma. And that, together with teaching ethics, I taught ethics for years at the college level, has allowed me to ground myself in the ability to talk about human experience in a way that does not have religious overtones, and to encourage people in what I call self-cultivation. I think there's a Buddhist overtone to that, self-cultivation. So that's what I do. That's what I do for my work, why I do it, and,
I remember when you were finally segueing into that part of your practice as you were, because when I first met you, that was not at all what you were doing.
No.
And it was wonderful to watch the way you kind of, I mean, I know at the time you were trying to figure out which direction to go, but for me, it was kind of like watching, you ever watching a leaf fall off a tree and it goes as it comes down and then it just settles. And it was kind of like that. It's like, saw a lot of activity, but when you got there, it was not at all a surprise because it's absolutely perfect for you.
Perfect. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good job. I like being an advocate. I think well on my feet generally, so court is okay.
Yep.
I remember.
So you're very personable.
Thank you. Thank you. When I was in law school, I remember, I had friends who were like, I'm going to be a litigator. I was like, I do not need to go to court. I'm going to be the kind of lawyer that's doing research. And no.
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to court for years too.
Yeah, we all end up there once in a while. Yeah. So, does that answer your question? I think it
I
does.
would say that
I
was-
think it does.
Yeah.
How about you? How do you ground?
How do I ground? Well, I will tell you that I still struggle with this, but I know that breath is the doorway to what I seek, which is less mind. So breathing brings me to less mind. I found that what causes me the most stress and anxiety and lack of groundedness is overthinking. Yeah. So I would say breath work, being in nature. You always tell me, go put your feet in water.
Yep. Living water.
Living water, right?
Not a
A
puddle.
bathtub doesn't work, right? Yeah, and there's periods of time in my life where I feel. I mean, I'm known to a lot of people. I'm actually known as like Eric's the grounded one.
Oh,
You know,
good.
I know that may not occur to
sorry.
you. Is that way? I mean,
It's a scale. It's a scale.
well, I process with Peggy more than any other human being on this planet, so I could see how one would not see me as grounded all the time. But recently, this period of life, this season that I've been going through, and you both know about it, I have really struggled with being grounded, and I've been floating in the darkness, and am now in a place where I'm not so afraid of it. I'm starting to embrace it because I'm starting to realize that it's coming up because it's time. It's time for it to come up. It's time for me to face the shadows I haven't faced. And in embracing it, I'm actually embracing myself because the darkness has always been a part of me. And there are parts of me that I have been running from and hiding from my entire life up until this time where no longer. So I'm not very grounded a lot. I'm learning to float. I'm learning to fly and hold on, try to have fun with it.
There's opportunities in that. How
Oh yeah. Yep.
about you, Dave?
Yeah.
About me.
How about you?
The question is how do I ground myself?
Yeah.
First thing that popped into my head, which is pretty funny, to consider the three of us.
Yeah.
First word popped into my head was prayer.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I mean, that is what I do. I insist that prayer works. I just don't necessarily think that you need to petition some other being that may or may not exist, type of thing. But and I will start with a round of 3 prayers in the morning and breathing, and quite often throughout the day I'll do the same. Sometimes I will ground. I have other things that I will do, because have you ever been so keyed up that you can't stop yourself or even get the presence of mind to stop yourself and pray or what have you? And in those cases, things like music and dogs are wonderful. I think dogs are a much higher form of being than us.
It's God spelled backwards. Kind of makes sense to me.
Wow,
too.
Mom, God, dog. So
Yeah.
They're pure loyalty. Plus,
if you're nice to them, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
one of the
that's my
dogs-
experience.
Yeah, one of the dogs we adopted, I don't know if everybody was nice to her before she got to our house. So she's gotten way better, but at first was a little skittish, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, she's I've always had this thing with I'm that guy who goes into the party and will often end up at the dog first.
I know that guy. That's definitely you.
Yeah,
I see that.
yeah. And I'm talking to the dog, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just like scratching him and hiding in the corner. I'm like having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And then usually some kid goes, "Daddy, who's this man with my dog?" But yeah, animals, music, breathing, prayer, and thinking. But thinking in a way that, again, the eightfold path: thought, intention, action.
It's like the
Living.
deconstruction of thought more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially.
and I get
you
that.
know,
Yeah.
Following them back to each seed,
Right.
Because it's the only place where I have any control on what's going to come outward, verbally, physically, whatever.
Yeah. Peggy, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a question. I'm curious. You said you start with prayer. Are they petitions?
No, it's it is a no. They are not petitions. It is trying to think of the right adjective. Intentions. Their
Oh.
intentions.
Which is, yeah, I mean, and that's how I was
And-
taught to pray. When I first started praying, I was taught that praying was setting intentions and asking for answers, and that meditation was about listening for the answers to those questions. What did I just say? Did I just mess that up?
No, you did fine.
All right. Yeah. So praying is asking, setting intention, asking the question. Meditation is listening, being present, and waiting for the answers.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just tell you what the prayer is. And I'm just going to make sure and read it because I'm out of my element. And that's when you'll screw it up
Of
and
course,
say,
of course.
say something. So the prayer is to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By the merits I create by listening to the Dharma, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. I say it 3 times. And as long as my body's cooperating, I will kneel and prostrate 3 times. And then I'll sit and I'll breathe and I will try to meditate. And when I'm meditating, I'm doing a concentration meditation. So I am, and I'm just going to walk you through it real quick, right?
Sure.
This for mostly for the people at home.
Let's go.
What the hell is meditation? All right, so I'm going and I've got myself a place that I go when I meditate. I find it, it's my chair that I like, I'm going to go there. Doesn't matter what you pick, but you want a place where you can relate it to your meditation so that as you continue to revisit that spot, it'll have, some properties to it that will automatically put you in that state when you go back to it.
I have something to say to that. Do you mind? That you told me one time years ago. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to just say it. It was one of the most powerful things that anyone's ever said to me. You said, make sure you recognize where you experience God and go there often. And
I
that's
believe
where
I
you-
would have said, mark the places where you experience
Yeah,
God.
right.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude, that's
Yeah, I know because it's a saying in my head.
Yeah,
That's
and
why I
it's
say
related
that.
to what you're saying. And dude,
Yeah.
that literally has been one of the most powerful statements that anyone's ever made to me, and I've shared it with hundreds of people. So there
I
you
wish
go.
I could say I made it up.
No, whatever. It doesn't
Just
matter.
like every other Just like every other beautiful guiding principle that came from somebody before you.
Yeah, well,
Except for in those rare occasions when somebody pops up in humanity, but for the most part. So, and I'll sit, and so position is semi-important. Now, of course, if you can go cross-legged, if you can sit in lotus position, that's ideal. For somebody like myself, I'm in a chair,
yeah.
right? My feet are flat on the floor, as Peggy had said. My dog's name is Penny, so. The,
We're talking about God the whole time. That's what's happening.
and so the idea is to straighten your spine, so you sit with your back erect. And if you imagine your spine as a stack of coins, it goes straight up the back. Now, what would happen, though, is that if you were to be looking at me right now, your head and your spine actually go slightly back at the top. So you dip your chin slightly so as to imagine that that spine comes straight out of the crown of your head. So if this is a straight rod could be put all the way through down. Then I will place my hands in the meditation mudra with my right hand within my left hand. So my hands are in my lap, palms facing up, left hand up, right hand inside of it, thumbs touching. Next will be my eyes. My eyes go to about half mast. I don't shut my eyes when I meditate because that shuts out the world. And if the goal is concentration, knowing the mind, you have to be able to do that with the input of the world. And then comes the breathing. So there is positions within the mouth, teeth slightly apart, lips slightly open, and the tip of my tongue slightly touching the back of my top two teeth, the roof of my mouth, just gently positioned there. And it'll sit there naturally. And then take a couple deep cleansing breaths to oxygenate your blood. And then I begin to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When I'm doing this, I'm sensing the air going in and out of my nose, my mouth. And I can feel the sensation of the air. And then it's that point that my mind will usually go, oh yeah, you left the toaster on. And my job is to go, got it. In, out, sensation. And you're a total loser, so why are you even doing this? In, out, sensation. Kind of hungry. And we've talked about this before, that's the chattering monkey mind. And I will slowly do this, and the goal is to not allow yourself to follow those thoughts, but in fact, to bring yourself back to the breath. And so that is the position that I will do. And most meditation teachers will tell you to start about a half hour, maybe an hour. I think I said this before. I tell people set 2 or 3 minutes as your goal.
Yep.
Because what you can't say is you don't have 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
You can say, I don't have a half hour.
Right.
That's very easy to say, but I don't have 2 minutes, right? I mean, so, and I'll do that. And it naturally will progress in length as I practice. So that's specifically what I do when I'm meditating.
Are you complete?
Yeah, so that's a concentration meditation. It's meant to sharpen the mind.
Thank you. Thank
As
you.
opposed to passage meditation.
Yeah, no, I mean,
or-
there's so many different types.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
listening to you describe that, I feel calmer. So, thank you, Dave.
Well, thank you, Eric.
Can I throw in my experience?
I would
Damn
love
right.
that.
All right. So I sit in the same place like you. I have a place. So I have a place where I sit. I can have a portable place. If I take my candle, if I'm traveling, there are a few things I can take that I assemble in front of me. I journal every day, right? So I can do that. But
I too have something portable, so that's a
Right.
very good point. yeah.
that's awesome. So I light a candle, I sit, I connect in the way that I already mentioned, both feet on the floor, breathing, breathing, breathing. Finding my place. It's through the breath and through my connection with the earth. And if I have an inquiry, if I have something I'm curious, I'm a very curious person.
That's
I'm very curious.
true.
And I also, my mind, I'm learning a lot about the way that people's minds work differently in terms of how we conjure thought. So what I've learned is that the way I conjure thought is much more pictorial than most people. I see pictures. Some people don't see pictures. If I say out loud, picture a red apple rolling down the street and landing in a river. Like, I got a movie of that going in my head just by somebody saying
too.
it. There are a lot of people.
I can see the gravels in the skin and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that don't. They like know what an apple is. They know what a road is. They're not thinking what I'm thinking. So I have pictures. That's what I work with. So what I do, if I have an inquiry, if I have a question, or if I'm curious, what's the next thing for me to know about my own self-cultivation? That's often my question. What I do is I imagine the moon in its crescent shape. And I tip it like a bowl in my imagination, and I call it the goblet of possibility. And I circle the rim of it with my breath 9 times. And then I move through the center of it into a white space. White walls, white ceiling. Sometimes it's a hallway. It's like a holodeck. Seriously. And I call it archive, and I ask my question.
Do you know what a holodeck is, Eric?
Of course, dude. I'm
Okay, I don't
a
know if
next
you've ever watched
generation
Star Wars.
Trekkie, dude. Come on.
Star Trek?
And I'm in archive. I'm in the place. I'm in the goblet of possibility. I'm in the place of all creation. And I ask what the next thing is for me to know. And wild stuff happens in there. Things I would have never imagined. Things that I can't even imagine come from my imagination, which is very curious. So there's part of me that says, of course it comes from your imagination. You're the one asking, right? Where else could it be coming from? Good question. That's an excellent question. But what I find there is sometimes it's just a snippet of an image, and sometimes it's like a few seconds of a movie. And it's a hint to something. And then it returns to white, and I find my feet. While I'm in there, I don't feel my body. I am in my body. I'm sitting in my place. But while I'm in the place of receiving, I'm not aware of feeling my body. So Dave was talking about sensation and maintaining a connection with sensation. In this practice, I don't do that. I'm somewhere else. And then I come back into my body and I feel sensation and I feel my feet on the ground. And I write that shit down as fast as I can because it is fleeting and I'll forget it like a dream.
Absolutely.
Every day. You do
Every day.
this. How many years have you been doing this every day?
I've been doing it every day since at least 2012.
Wow.
But in this form, with dropping through the goblet of possibility into archive, which is the white room for several years. I'd say 4 years. It evolves, something new happens. And then my practice moves me in a slightly different direction.
What is archive? What do you think archive is?
I think it's the eternal record of all of the experiences of all sentient beings across time.
So you believe that we have the ability to tap into that?
Oh, yeah, I do. So, yes, I believe we do have that. And I think it's a flood. It could be a flood. I don't know that it's advisable for everyone to do that. I think some people tap into it with drugs,
Yeah.
and plant medicine.
I think music too.
I think maybe
I was
music
going
too.
to say, between writing, of which I do prose and poetry and art, most of the time that stuff comes from somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't, like oftentimes I will start writing a poem in my head weeks before it ever gets to paper. And then it just kind of pours out,
Right.
you know? But yeah, and I've used the term channeled to just try to describe it.
Right.
That, of course, means, well, channeling what?
Channeling
and
what?
how and
Yeah.
from where. And,
We don't know.
yeah,
We don't know.
don't know. And for somebody as skeptical as I am, I've constantly wondered, but I've never questioned.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
like, well, yeah, because I depend on it. Right? So,
that's where the juice. That's where the creation comes from.
Right.
For
I
me,
understand that,
musically, I've never. I've taken a couple drum lessons, but when I'm drumming, man, there's no thought. I'm
Yeah.
tapping into this inner rhythm that is coming from somewhere else and flowing through me. If I thought about what I was doing, I wouldn't even be able to play.
Right.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I also.
sure you did.
What's that?
sure you did.
Yeah, I did.
I just the same way I cut her off.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, that's the way we
No,
do it.
I
That's why
too-
we had a talking stick.
So I refer to it as channeling too, and I have channeled before where, it's like free association. I've written things down. I've been with Peggy before and been like, blah 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 blah,
Time is a tether.
and then I was like, what the hell did I just say?
That's right.
Yep.
What was that?
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. It sure is.
It is, and I think that there are some people who are afraid of that. But what I've come to understand about myself, and also accompanying both of you, is that nothing would ever come through us that wasn't consistent with who we are. It doesn't.
It's like we're a channel. We're hold on, let me try the metaphor because it's kind of coming to me. It's almost like we are all one being, right? We're all different versions of the same consciousness that created this realm to experience itself. And each of us is like a different channel that certain programs come through better than others, or not even better, like only certain programs come through.
Well, it's because of our uniqueness.
Yeah.
So I've accompanied Dave while he's writing a poem. Not like in the same room, but over a course of days and maybe a couple weeks. And he'll send me pieces of the poem. And then it drops in what he's talking about. And it's like, oh, here it is. Except maybe not this word.
Yeah.
Right, Dave?
Exactly.
Except maybe not this word. And then maybe a month later, you'll be like, this is it. Now
Yeah.
it's done. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. There are I'm working on a project where in archive I've gotten questions. Like, ask people these questions. These questions will help them understand better who and how they are in the world. So I'll write the question down when I get back. And then I'll write it down. I put it on I'm a note card girl with some stuff. So I'll put it on a note card and I'll carry it around with me. And I'll be working and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's not exactly the word. This is the word, right? I got to make a slight adjustment. And
Refinement.
it is a refinement. It is exactly a refinement. And so I mean, I kind of heard a skeptical snort from you when I said that I don't think that there would ever be anything that comes through
It wasn't a
us.
skeptical snort. It was my own past experience coming back and going.
That's not true? That's not true for you?
Hard to tell if your mind is polluted. It's hard to tell what's coming through is correct or not.
Yeah, discernment. I see. For me, I know when it's my stuff, because usually there's self-doubt. there's those narratives that I always talk about. You know, like it's easy to see that I'm just like telling the same story over. But then there's times, and this happens to me in dream world too, where like I know when I have a dream and it's like, okay, yeah, that was from yesterday. That was based on the conversation I had with her. I watched a movie the other night. I can see all the pieces of my brain kind of filtering through what to keep and what to throw in the trash. And that's sometimes what I believe is what a dream is. Actually, that's the theory of a lot of people that study dreams. And then I'll have these dreams where it has nothing to do with the Eric Bolter experience in this reality. Like the time I dreamt about the giant sloth. Didn't even know giant sloths existed. And I dreamt about a giant sloth, bending over a birch tree toward me at my grandparents' place. And I'm still waiting, Spirit, still waiting for exactly what that means. But I'm still like holding on to that, like you hold on to the note cards for refinement. I'm still waiting for the refinement on getting some more meaning of that. But yeah, and then when there's certain things that I channel and I say it's from Spirit, I know, I don't question that when it happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, there's this knowing. And the knowing is when there is no self-doubt and there is no question.
Yeah, I had an experience that I was part of a group at the time of when the Deepwater Horizon blew up in the Gulf of Mexico. And we wrote an editorial piece that was published in the New York Times editorial section about Mother Earth and the effect of what was going on in the Deepwater Horizon. And I spoke with a bunch of people, and then I wrote it. Like, they were my words, and then they were edited. And there were certain words, combinations of words that jumped out at me, like they were bright, like they were illuminated from behind. And I told the leader of the group, I was like, if you take too many of these out, it's not going to do what it could do. And his answer was, well, we're a group, so we're going to have to edit, we're going to have to edit. And it ended up not having enough of the illuminated words. It was published, but it didn't have the effect it could have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a poet, I know exactly what that's like because synonyms are not.
No.
They just are not. They're close, but they are not synonymous. Amazingly enough, synonyms are not synonymous. In my humble opinion.
It'd be a good
And
t-shirt.
I know I'm humble.
You're wicked, yeah.
So-
You're not as humble
I'm
as
so
me, though,
fucking
dude.
humble.
I am the most humble
Dude,
there is.
I-
Nobody.
I know I've got more humility because I haven't even used any
You
yet.
can't even compete with my humbleness, dude. I win.
I'm so happy to be among you. I'm honored.
Are you humbled?
Yes.
But yeah, there's something because, and I don't remember the wording exactly correctly, but it's like the best things exceed thought. The next best things can be conceived of by thought, but can't be captured in words. And then there are the things that we can capture in words. And it's nowhere close to what we originally, because language just doesn't do
It's like
it.
the Tao
And
Te
so
Ching. It reminds me of that.
And so wrestling with a word that fits perfectly, it's like a goddamn jigsaw puzzle. And you find one that you swear to God will fit, and you're just pounding it in there, and it just doesn't work.
I don't think words work a lot of the time. There just aren't words that exist to explain some of the human phenomena that we experience. And you can even look at different languages. In some languages, like, the classic, and this is more for the listeners, we've had these conversations, but it's like in what is it? In Greek, there's 7 different words for love, right? Is that accurate?
There's more than that, but yeah.
I was
good
thinking
point.
for the type of stuff we're talking about, Sanskrit wouldn't be a bad place to start.
There are some languages that are full in a way that English is not
Yeah.
full, in a way that Spanish is not full. I
Yeah.
speak Spanish too, and there are times when I'm speaking in English, trying to say something, and I'm like, I have a Spanish word that's perfect for that. But of course, the person I'm talking to doesn't understand Spanish. So, but there are languages that are full. Aramaic, some of the ancient,
Yeah.
some of the indigenous languages of what's now the United States, of Turtle Island. Some of those indigenous languages are full in that way. And, we're trying to save those.
Yeah, and you think about the ones that we're talking about, those are ones that are absolutely rooted, the culture itself is rooted in a spirituality.
Right.
Where the culture that we live in is not at all. While there are spiritual sections of it, I mean, it's fairly capitalistic in the United States.
Paternalistic.
Yeah.
I think
So-
it's one of the reasons
nonsense.
why this society struggles to find a connection to spirit, is because of the literal vehicle that we are conditioned to use as the way to communicate, which is the English language.
Right. And it's malleable.
And going back to Peggy's ethics teachings, with spirituality, with religion comes a sense of ethics and morality that gets transferred in the teaching of it, that doesn't get transferred when you're watching, Rick and Morty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so without that in some people's lives, they're a little bit more without a guidance system at times, especially when it comes to moral choices that they're not quite sure, which step to take next, what's the honorable thing to do? How am I going to sleep with myself? Those kind of
Right.
questions that, I guess the older I get, the more I realize how important they are.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Today I was listening to something actually that Peggy sent me and recommended. And the major takeaway from listening to this podcast is that we're living in someone else's imagination. Like not someone, but the powers that be, let's just call as the entity, the powers that be imagined up this reality we live in the United States. And so to recognize that we all have our own imagination and that we're actually living in someone else's imagination, that we have this illusion of safety that we've been sold our entire lives, and that, it's almost like what did I text you earlier that was one of my takeaways? Like, we were born into an immersion program.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
They're like, as soon as you're born, it's like you're in this immersion program where whether you want to believe it or not, there's all this conditioning. I think some of it is not intentional. I think a lot of it is intentional. But what I really sat with, and it reminded me of Archive, because I do follow Peggy's Archive, not all the time, but when I feel called. And she always asks the best questions. And so the question that, came from this podcast is, like, what can we imagine that is different and better for humanity outside of what we're living in, which is someone else's imagination?
Right. And it doesn't really work for many.
And I'm sure I've got this wrong, but I'm going to take a stab. But I believe that's an Indra is the Hindu god that imagines the world, and each one that is born out of it is I'm stumbling on that, but I believe
don't
that's, it's part of, yeah. There you have it. I
Yeah,
think it's Indra is one that, a world that imagines a world comes into being, collapses, goes back down, and this happens for 1,000 million years type of thing, until the next one is born. And it's, and I'll look up and see if I can find something on it, and I'll send it to you, because
Cool.
it's kind of interesting to hear some of these older stories, spiritual teachings come around again on the guitar.
right,
You
in
know?
a modern context.
In a modern context.
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle with his take on Buddhism, really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes
good
people
stuff.
like him to rewrite those spiritual principles in today's language, so that it doesn't sound like, the Buddhist equivalent of somebody trying to read a King James Bible,
Right.
in the year 2024.
It's relatable.
Yeah.
It's relatable, and it's more attainable and tangible. Ibble.
Kibble,
Blah, 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 blah.
kibble, 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 kibble.
So, wow.
With that being said, we'll probably have to wrap up. I would love to just keep going and do like a two-parter. But we'd have to get them to, and you've got a long ride. So.
Yeah, I want to be mindful of everyone's time here, and I would just
Invite me back.
please
Invite me back.
I can tell that this is not complete.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody at home say, come back,
Come
Peggy,
back,
come
Peggy,
back.
Peggy.
You'll get those
please.
as people listen to it.
My pleasure. It would be my honor.
Yeah, this
Thank you.
conversation is not complete. That I know. So
Never has been.
no, not
No.
really. And I would. This is just beautiful and awesome. And Peg, I can't thank you enough for coming and being our second guest on this podcast.
Well, thank
And
you.
thank you, Dave, for being my amazing co-host, and I being your co-host. Thank you for this opportunity.
I want to thank you both, because I was, as you saw, in a rough space when I came in again. I was doing battle with the insurance company, and it wasn't going well, and wasn't feeling up to snuff. But I had a hunch that once we got in here, that things would probably clear up a little bit, which I'm glad to say it did, because you guys both contain amazing amounts of energy.
Cool.
And the three of us together?
The power of three.
That's right. It's the ticket.
That's why I pray 3 times.
3 is a magic number.
It is.
And with that,
Just turn my lights off.
That's right. I've fallen and I can't
All
get up.
right. All right. Well, with that, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time on Love Your Brain.
yeah.
Love your brain.
Thanks for listening, and until next time. Oh, wrong setting.
That's better. Thanks for listening, and until next time, don't forget to love your brain.